It's great that we are here and it's great that we're in the competition. Don't know how many British clubs are left in European competitions at this time of the season, but for us to be one of them is a big achievement, and long may it continue. We want to try and keep it going, but every game and every round you play is very tough.
And I mean, I was just saying to the guys, it's the year anniversary of the 3-0 win over Lyon, and I mean they're the special nights that the West Ham fans are sort of living for right now, and you want to deliver them. Yeah,
we do. I'd love to give the supporters another couple of nights, which we did, but I truly would like to go further, and if we can. But I've got big respect for Ghent. What I would do for all the teams we play. We've got no divine right to be getting through. We have to work very hard for it. We're going to have to play well. We've got a two-legged game to get through, so we have to do a really good job and see if we're good enough to get to a semi-final.
Will this be the toughest test in Europe this season that you face, do you think?
I think every game, and I think when it gets to the sort of knockout games like this, I think it becomes really, really tough. I mean, Ghent themselves have had some really big wins. They had an incredible win away in Istanbul, and we know that it's going to be a tough game, and they're on a good run at the moment as well. So we have to take that into consideration.
Where are you feeling with your team strength? Are you going to go all out tomorrow? Do you have to take in consideration Arsenal?
Well, I'm not going to give too much away, but obviously we've got a lot of important games. But I'm sure Ghent have important games as well coming up. So it's not just us, but we've got a situation in the Premier League where we have to keep trying to win more games, and we've got big games. But the chance to get through to a semi-final, we have to try and take every opportunity we can, and I wouldn't want to give that up easily.
And just last one, your son and your dad have been going to the away games in Europe, I think, which is nice for you personally. I imagine, are they here tomorrow?
Yeah, and my daughter.
And your daughter? Yeah, I mean, that's nice for you
daughter,
as
my
well.
dad. So I'm great because my dad's getting older, and as we all know, I think when we all get older, we hope that our sons will take us to football matches. So my brother's bringing my dad out. So, and I hope that when I'm his age, my son's taking me to football matches and watching games. So they're here supporting you.
David, in terms of the opposition, Ghent have a few promising young players. One being, I think it's pronounced Gift Orban. Yeah, young forward.
He scored. I think it was a hat-trick he scored in the game.
Yeah, in the previous round.
Yeah.
Are the team aware of the threat he could pose tomorrow?
Yeah, we're aware of the teams. We've obviously been to Belgium a couple of times recently, one this season and one season before. So we don't know everything about Ghent, but we certainly have done as much homework as we possibly can. We know as much as we can do about the individual player you've mentioned and the team itself. But the big thing is for us to perform and us to continue to reach the standards which we've done over this season. I think we're 10 unbeaten in Europe. It's a really good record. We want to try and add to that if we can.
I asked Vladimir a similar question. In terms of the semi-final defeat to Frankfurt, how often, I know it's the best part of the year now, but how often do you think about that game and just how close the team were?
Yeah, we were, and I think when I look back, I want to learn. I said I think after it, we need to learn from mistakes. A couple of us, me included, made mistakes and got caught up, and we were probably a goal down in the first leg before the game had even started. If you can remember that as well. So there's things like that we have to learn. We have to learn to be adaptable with whoever the referees are, and we have to learn very quickly to find the tolerance levels. So things like that can play a big difference in these sort of games in Europe, and we have to keep adapting to it. But we keep reminding the players, we keep remembering things which happened. What did we do well? What did we not do so well? In the hope that we get most of them right.
And last for me, I know we've got the important task of tomorrow, of course, but slightly looking ahead, what would it mean to you to reach the final of a European competition?
Say that again. What?
I said, look, I know you're not overlooking tomorrow, of course, but just thinking far ahead, what would it mean to you on a personal level if West Ham were to reach the final of a European competition?
I think for any managers to get to a European final is a huge thrill. But again, I don't want to talk about it, but because I hope that we do get to a point where we are talking about it. But at the moment, I've got to talk about how can we win a quarter final against Ghent. How can we get ourselves into a semi-final? That's the first bit I have to try and do.
Hi, David. Just on the team news, Paqueta's obviously travelled. Is he ready to go somewhere?
Yeah, he as I said, he got quite a bad knock and he trained a little bit on Friday, and we thought he'd be okay, but I think his ankle was just too puffy. But hopefully he's back. He's trained a couple of days and he's back in the squad. Yeah.
With a player like him who's maybe not quite had the impact yet that you brought him in for, have you kind of stressed, I suppose, the legacy that he could have by the end of the season if he's a player who delivers a trophy to West Ham?
Yeah, I mean, I think the legacy for any player, never mind Lucas Paqueta, I think any player to do that would be an incredible achievement for the individual and for the club. So no, we're sort of telling the players, we've got to try and keep pushing for it. We've got to keep trying to make sure that we're doing everything we can to get to the final, and we'll try and do that. It's a chance, but we know we've got to try and overcome two games.
And I know you said a bit earlier in the season that you're a bit worried you might have to at some point prioritise the league over this. Does the result at Fulham on the weekend actually make it easier for you to go with a strong side?
It would be much nicer if we probably had another, 7 or 8 points. It would be much nicer. We don't have a quarter final of a European competition, which I'm thinking to myself, what can we try and go further? That we talked about it. We had great nights as the boys who were there last year. We had great nights in Europe when it got to these stages. I hope we're able to give the supporters a couple more of these if possible. So we have to try and get the balance right. It's not easy, that's why Thursday, Sunday football, as we've always talked about, is not an easy thing. And and there'll be other teams next year who probably have a similar situation.
Hi, David. You said you made mistakes last season, but the fact that you got there, you've been in that position before. Surely that gives you an edge in this competition compared to the other teams, because you've been in a European quarterfinal before. You know what it takes to win one. Yeah.
Well, I hope the experience what we've got from it, and what was trying to allude to was, we lost a goal early on in the game. We got sending off. I get sent off. We got caught up, and we didn't give ourselves a chance in lots of things which we need to do. So that was some things. We need to do things better on the pitch as well as how we play, and maybe the moments in the game for us to lose a goal so quickly in the semi-final was something which we had to, I would think again about. So they're the things which we're hopefully we would learn. But I see someday like Pep, who's won Champions Leagues, but still looking for better ways and learning all the time with his team to try and get them to win finals as well. So I think the good thing for us at West Ham is we're in this position, which is really, really good. It gives us a chance, and we have to try and take the chance if we can.
And I guess in that game against Frankfurt, it was about controlling emotions, which perhaps the team maybe didn't do as well as they could have. Do you think they're in a position now where they can be kind of ice cold in that position?
Well, emotions are something which you never know how they're going to take you in at different things, and probably when you look back, you'd say I can understand why the emotions. We were right up against it on a couple of occasions. But we've got to try and make sure we're better, better disciplined, calmer. But we still want the players to be emotional. We want them to understand what it means. We want them to be motivated, and we want them to be eager to impress and show. We don't want vanilla players who are just going to go around and not really tackle, challenge, be competitive, run hard. You need players who are going to do all those things, and we have to just learn where we have to draw the line, and that's why I'm saying is sometimes your judgment of the officials has got to be taken as you see the game going on.
And I think last season in the Europa League, West Ham were a team that maybe others didn't want to play because of how difficult they were to play against. Do you think that's still the case? Do you think other teams now view West Ham as a team, or they don't really want to be drawn against them? And there's that fear factor still.
Well, I think that it's always good to have momentum if you can, and we've not had great momentum. But let's be fair, in this competition we're formed probably since the World Cup's been of a much better level. So we're beginning to build it, if we want to try and keep it going. But this competition's given us some of our best results, some of our best performances. So I'm hoping that we can add to that.
One from Andy.
David, you talked about the players leaving a legacy by winning a trophy. What about the manager? What would it mean to you?
Yeah, it would be. The question here, to get to any manager getting to a European final would be huge. But I thought last year when we got to the quarter-finals, I thought, this is great. We're up against really big teams. We're up against Seville in the quarter-final, I think it was. And that was it Lyon? Lyon the semi-final? Seville was the game before that, wasn't it? So with Lyon. So we had a run of difficult games. And, you could have easily gone out because those teams were probably much more European versed than we were. We were only just in it. So it makes us feel a little bit this year, as what you alluded to, that we're a bit more experienced, been there before, done it. We're beginning to get a little bit of a feel for it, where we've been able to play teams that have helped get results, and whatever we've put out. So we've got this game, but we've also got the game at the London Stadium. And the London Stadium, there'll be 60,000, whatever. We've got 65,000 now, 62,500. It'll be sold out, I've got no doubt, for next week's game, because everybody knows how important it is, and everybody wants to be at the big games. And we had some brilliant big games last year. So for a manager, I think you want to be involved in the big games, and hopefully we've got a few more to come.
David, is this the most difficult balancing act you've had as a manager? Sort of walking the high wire, if you like, in the Premier League, trying to get enough points to keep you safe.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, trying to conquer Europe.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not often
really.
the managers in that sort of dichotomy.
No, it's really difficult. And actually, last year we were always, when you get to this stage of the tournament, we were sort of putting teams out. We were putting nearly all our players out. But what we're finding is when we're coming back and playing on the Sunday, and if you look at our form, and it wasn't that we lost all the games when we come back, but it was much harder. And but I think if you look at, it's not just us. I'm just looking. If you look all round at the teams who play on a Thursday, it's very hard to get a result if you're not on a Sunday again. And I know that there's other teams in Europe had found very similar situations. So it is been a difficult balancing act, and it will be a continued. Hopefully, I hope that we're in this position for another few games, which will mean that it is difficult. But what do? You take the next game, you focus on it completely. We try and win it. We do everything we can to win the next game, and then we go to the next one and prepare ourselves the best we can.
Last couple then, please.
And for those of us approaching landmark birthdays in the next few weeks, what would it mean to you to be a semi-finalist in Europe? Hopefully after your family have given you a nice birthday cake in a couple of weeks.
I hope so. Well, look, to be in a semi-final last year was great. I wish it would have been the final. My next objective, can I get to another semi-final? So that's what would be the objective just now. And we'll do everything we can. But again, I think to be at this stage and this far in Europe with the record we've had, it's still a big achievement for West Ham, because I can think of other. I'm not going to name them, teams who get knocked out, teams who didn't get through qualifying rounds, teams who didn't quite get this far. So we've been able to do that. So you mustn't underestimate the value of sitting here in a quarter-final, because it's a big thing, and that means 2 quarter-final European competitions 2 years in a row for West Ham United Football Club. I think when you look back, we'll say, boy, oh boy, that looks quite big. Not only that, one was a semi-final, and we don't know where the outcome of this one's going yet. So I think when we look back a bit, I think they'll say it might have been 2 really, really good years.
How's the movement then off the back of that big win over Fulham at the weekend? How much has that lifted the squad to climb clear of relegation?
Of course, everyone knows it was a very important win for us. We were close to relegation zone now. We are breathing a bit easily, but still the situation is not where we want to be. So we need to add some another wins and keep going till end of the season.
Throughout the season, the European games have kind of been a good relief from the Premier League. You've been so good in Europe this year. Does it still feel like by winning this competition, you could actually turn this into a brilliant season for the club?
Yeah, of course. So for the first time, we need to stay at Premier League for sure. It's it's absolutely clear. And the second main goal for us is to lift the trophy, And when we stay in the Premier League and we'll win the Conference League, I think it's gonna be unbelievable season for everyone, So yeah, that's the 2 goals.
Do you think the players appreciate actually what a trophy would mean for this club? Obviously, the last 2 years have been really successful in terms of the league position, but this club haven't won that many trophies in their history.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's one of the main goals of our season, to lift the trophy. And trophy means something special. You can finish, I don't know, 6 or 7 in the Premier League. It's like big success for West Ham. But to lift a trophy, it means something else, something extra. The feeling and the prestige for fans and for players is like unbelievable, and doesn't matter which competition you win.
Will this be your toughest game that you've faced in Europe this season? Has you got that perfect record, or will this be the hardest?
Ooh, okay, let me think a bit. I would say the very dramatic game was at Silkeborg, to be honest, because we played on the artificial grass, and this team was really good, like combination, and they were used to play on the artificial grass. So for us it was something new, and we were a bit surprised. We were losing, but I think we did manage this game to win. So it was like, this was the most important thing. But I would say maybe this game at Silkeborg.
What do you guys get to do tonight? Do you just go back to the hotel and chill? Do you get to do any team bonding? Do you go out and wander? What are you gonna spend the night doing?
Yeah, like usual, before the game, go to the hotel, have a good dinner, have a good massage or therapy. Doesn't matter. Depends on you what you need. What you prefer, and have a good sleep over the night, and be ready for tomorrow game.
Vlad, you were part of that group that reached the semi-finals in the Europa League last season, which I know was the best part of the year now. But how often do you think about that game and how close you guys were to reaching the final?
When you lose this game like we lost last season, it's still in my head, to be honest. It's same when we lost with Denmark on the Euro with Czech Republic. We were really close to the third place and to the medal, and now we were with West Ham really close to the final, and like you never know what can happen. I could sit here like a winner of the Europa League now, and now I'm sitting here like a semi-finalist. So it's big difference. How I said, winning a trophy is something extra, and every player wants to experience this to lift a trophy. So it's still in my head, but me and also my teammates, we are doing everything this season to repair this semi-final from last year and to be in the final and lift the trophy.
Because of that experience, would it be better to say you and your teammates are even more motivated now to go that one step further this season in the Conference League?
Yeah, of course. I said it. It's like one of the most important goals for us this season, to lift the trophy and to be in the final, to go as far as we can in the Conference Leagues. It's football. Never know what can happen, but how I said, it's my goal for us.
And last move, the final is going to be in Prague with the Czech Republic. What would it mean to you if West Ham were to reach the final?
A huge motivation for me, for Tom, obviously, to bring the West Ham team and all the stuff to the Prague, show him beautiful stadium from Slavia Prague, and some beautiful places, hopefully, in Prague. So for me, it's like huge motivation. When I found out for the first time it's gonna be at Prague, I said to the guys, it's like a huge motivation. We have to reach the final, and hopefully we will reach this final. And how I said, to lift a trophy in front of my family and in front of my friends in my country, it would be something extra for me.
One more. Since you've been playing for West Ham, have you noticed a lot more interest in West Ham from fans and relatives of yours back home?
You mean from my country, yeah? Yeah, from my country. When I signed for West Ham, and obviously Tom signed for West Ham, my feeling is like everyone becomes a fan of West Ham. So it's like, I think we created a big community of West Ham fans in the Czech Republic.
Any more?
Oh yeah, sorry. Right, there's a big debate whether obviously as a club you want consistency, and finishing 6th and 7th, that was a big success. But as a player, you obviously see trophies as success. And when you look back in your career, you won't necessarily think, oh, we finished 6th and 7th. It's about trophies, isn't it? And that's what's important to a player.
Yeah, you are right. That's very important, but not everyone is good enough to play for City, Liverpool, or a team like this to winning a trophy. When I was at Czech Republic, I won a lot of trophies. I won third times domestic leagues, third time Czech Cup and Super Cup, and I don't know what else. But maybe I'm not good enough to play for the big teams. So I'm good enough to play for West Ham, and I'm doing everything to lift the trophy with West Ham.
And would this trophy surmount all the others that you've won in your career? Would it be better?
For me, it would be the best trophy what I can win now, actually.